Manila, the Philippines. Population 100 million people. A city of cities with over 16 million people whose wealth is controlled by 50 families. Piatis is a place where thousands of inhabitants struggle daily to survive from the offerings of the rubbish dump where they live. This is their story. Piatis, a local government area in Metro Manila. Dominated by the city's massive rubbish dump, with a population of over 250,000 people. Where tens of thousands live in poverty, many making their living from scavenging through the large rubbish dump. Piatis, a place of poverty, crime, drugs, gangs, and violence.
Our life here in Piatis is barely making ends meet. You won't have anything to eat if you don't go up to the garbage mountain, and we get by because of this. I am married with 6 children. When we arrived here in Piatis, we used to sleep in bare soil, covered only by cartons. We had a difficult life. We can't sleep at night because we are bothered. We earn our living as scavengers, and at times we barely eat 3 meals a day. Like today, we haven't had anything for lunch because my husband is sick, and we cannot work. I no longer have the strength to go to the garbage mountain at 3 a.m. and finish at 8 a.m. We earn a meager 120 or 100 pesos a day, and I make that suffice to meet our basic needs.
In 2005, Father Paul Wamedima responded to the situation of Piatis. He established the PNA Foundation, which means Heart of the Father. It is a foundation developed with the aim of personal and social transformation of individuals, families and communities in Piatis. This is achieved through A, child and youth development, education, human and spiritual formation, and B, community development, income generation, health and property ownership. The mission of PNA is to help people, especially those who are materially poor, to experience, know, accept, be reconciled by, be healed by, be transformed by, and be impelled to action by God's steadfast, merciful, gracious, and infinite love.
Hi, I'm Father Paul Wamedima. In 1998, I was due to write to the Cardinal in England to ask him to ordain me as a deacon. And we were having a retreat. And in prayer, I really felt God was saying to me, no, don't write to him and ask for him to ordain you as a deacon. Instead, write to him and ask permission to leave the seminary for a year and go and live in the slums. And I spoke to my spiritual director about it, and he said, okay, it sounds very good, but you'll have to think really carefully about why you believe this, because the rector is going to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't go.
Ever since Father has arrived in our lives, a lot of things has changed. As for me, I was able to finish my study as midwife through the help of Father. He provided for my schooling. I was able to finish midwifery. When Father arrived in Payatas, there were changes because he introduced us to their foundation. Not only to the foundation, but he brought us closer to God. And now it is much better because of Father's help. It is not only that we were able to avail of Father's help, but our community as well was able to get closer to God because of Father Paul. A lot has benefited from Puso ng Ama. As an example, our house without Puso ng Ama, we won't have this dwelling. We are very thankful to Father Paul who have been giving us help and support.
Payatas is not the same as the reputation that it's got. And the reputation is Payatas is the worst place in the whole world and everyone there is horrendously poor. It's actually not like that. There's quite a wide variety from the horrendously poor to the quite well off. The first year I lived basically the whole year in the slums. And since then I've lived on and off in the slums. My real desire is to live permanently among the poor in the slum areas, informal areas, squatter areas, whatever you choose to call them. That's where I feel like at home actually. That's where I really feel at home.
When Puso ng Ama arrived in Payatas, it gave us hope. Our lives have changed and we became hopeful because Father Paul helped us a lot.
Our home is not finished yet, but it's starting to take shape. We have food to eat daily because of the job I got through the foundation who sent me to school.
Our main goal, even though we're poor, is to always have hope and never give up. I always keep reminding my husband that because no matter how poor we are, my husband and I surrender our lives to God, especially when Father arrived. Before this, life was really hard, especially when my father passed away. There were days where we missed meals. It was hard, but life has to go on, and you overcome those struggles in life. Just dream. There's nothing impossible when you dream. Just have a dream because things do change. In the past, we don't have anything to eat. We have no proper clothing. We don't have our own belongings. Keep on dreaming and never give up. Nothing is impossible if you persevere in life.
It's home because it's where God wants me to be, and if it's where God wants me to be, I'm happy. I really believe my calling is first of all to serve the poor, to be with the poor, to be friends with the poor, but it's being there with them as a friend. I'm no superior to them. Jesus says, really, when we see the poor, we see Him. When we feed the poor, we feed Him. When we feed the hungry, we feed Him. When we visit the sick, we visit Him. I want to see Payatas become more and more and more like heaven. This side of earth will never be heaven. But heaven is a place where there's joy, perfect joy and peace. Heaven is a place where there's no more poverty, no more suffering, no more sickness, no more hunger, no more thirst. Where there's just joy and happiness and abundance and health and peace and shalom, where everybody knows God, where there's pure love, seeing individuals, families and communities transformed by God's love. And so I want to see even people who are poor, because they've experienced God's amazing love for them, that they go out in turn and love others. Even though they're poor, they go out and serve other poor. They go out and reach out. And to see Piatus changed as individuals are changed and families are changed and communities are changed. You've met some people who've shared how they've changed, how their lives have been changed. And meeting the Lord and the Lord's love can change their whole life. So my dream is to see change. Is to see change.
Becoming a PNA partner will bring about personal and social transformation in the lives of the people of Piatus. Your financial support will have a direct and immediate impact on Piatus, creating a future full of possibilities for some of the poorest families in the Philippines. People living at Piatus need your help. Please consider donating to the PNA Foundation to bring hope to this community through development, education, livelihood programs and much needed health services.